Have you ever really, truly stopped to think about what you devote your life to? I mean, not just what you say you value, but where all your time, your energy, and your focus actually goes. Well, today, we're going to explore this idea of modern altars, these subtle, unspoken things that we end up building our entire lives around, a lot of times without even realizing it. So let's get into it.
So let's just start with a really direct question. And I know it might feel a little intense, but what do you truly worship? And look, I'm not necessarily talking about religion here. I'm talking about the one thing, the ultimate prize that really organizes your entire life, your time, your money, your energy. That's the question we're going to unpack.
You see, the core idea we're digging into here is that for so many of us, our devotion has kind of been rerouted, subtly. We might consciously believe we're all about one thing, faith, family, our community, but if you look at our day-to-day actions, they might just point to a whole different set of unspoken altars that are really calling the shots.
So, what exactly is a modern altar? Yeah, it's not some physical thing you built. It's a value, something like comfort, or getting approval, or even success, that we start chasing so hard that it becomes the true north of our lives. It's the thing that ends up dictating all our priorities and can quietly push aside a deeper sense of spiritual purpose.
Okay, so let's look at the first of these modern altars, the altar of comfort. This is all about the pursuit of an easy, frictionless life. And hey, it's a powerful desire and a totally understandable one. But what happens when that desire for an easy life becomes the #1 goal?
I think this slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you've got a life that basically accepts and maybe even expects that challenges are part of the deal. They're necessary for growth. It's about sacrifice that has a purpose. But on the other side, the altar of comfort is all about dodging challenges and making convenience king. The end goals couldn't be more different. One's about real fulfillment, and the other is just about ease. And this is where the rubber meets the road in our everyday lives, right? Just think about it for a second. Do we choose the easy takeout instead of keeping a promise to cook a meal with family? Do we just ghost someone because it's easier than having a tough but honest conversation? Now, these might feel like small, tiny choices, but they can be little breadcrumbs that lead back to a deeper value system, one that always prioritizes the path of least resistance.
All right, on to our second altar, validation. Now, this one taps into a really deep, really human need for approval. But in our hyper-connected world, it's been cranked up to a whole new level. It's that nonstop quest to be seen, to be liked, to get that thumbs up from, well, pretty much everyone.
And again, just look at this contrast. It's so powerful. A spiritually grounded life, that gives you an internal source of worth. It's stable, it's based on what you truly believe. But the pursuit of validation, man, that completely outsources your self-worth. It makes your value totally dependent on the shifting, unpredictable whims of other people. And that forces you into the state of constant performance. It's really the difference between being authentic and just being accepted.
And here's what that actually looks like. It's crafting that social media post, not to share what you believe, but to get the most possible engagement. It's that little knot of fear in your stomach about being canceled if you say something unpopular. It's checking our phones, not for real connection, but for that little dopamine hit from a new notification. It really makes you stop and ask, am I measuring my self-worth in likes?
Our third and final altar is one that our culture practically worships out in the open, the altar of success. And this isn't just about doing a good job. It's when we start venerating achievement itself, when we see status and wealth and titles as the ultimate signs that a life was lived well. I feel like this slide really gets to the heart of it all. What is your ultimate goal? Is it driven by some internal sense of purpose, where success just means being true to your calling? Or is it driven by all those external metrics, the job title, the salary, the size of the house? One is about creating a legacy of impact. The other, well, it's more about creating a legacy of assets.
And what's so tricky here is that the signs of this are often praised in our society. I mean, just think about hustle culture, right? Where sacrificing your health and your relationships for a promotion is seen as a badge of honor. Or that automatic reflex to scroll through LinkedIn and compare your career to literally everyone else's. It's all rooted in this deep down belief that what you do for a living is who you are.
In this quote from the source material, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. The whole point of looking at all this is to unmask these really subtle diversions, to start to see how these unspoken altars of comfort, validation, and success might just be pulling our devotion away from something deep.
So, after all that, where does this leave us? Well, it brings us right back to a really fundamental question of allegiance. After taking a hard look at these modern altars, comfort, validation, and success, we kind of have to ask ourselves, where does my devotion truly lie?
And look, it is so important to say this. The point of this whole conversation isn't about judgment. Not at all. It's really just an invitation to take a critical, but also a compassionate look at the forces that are truly steering your life, often in ways you don't even notice.
So we end right where we began, but hopefully with a brand new lens to see through. What are your deepest allegiances? When you're really faced with a choice between comfort and commitment, between validation and authenticity, or between success and purpose, which way do you lean? That's the question to carry with you. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.